Welcome back to AI Podcast. I'm David, and today we're unpacking a new EMNLP 2024 paper called LLM-EdgeRefine. Here's the quick take first. You can boost text clustering quality by letting a language model step in only where it matters most, at the fuzzy boundaries between clusters, while keeping the rest of the pipeline simple and fast.
So the headline is smarter clustering with just a little help from an LLM, right?
Exactly. Think of it as a two-stage tune-up. First, a lightweight procedure stabilizes the clusters. Then the model looks only at the most ambiguous texts, the ones sitting on the fence, and decides whether they belong or should be moved.
Nice. Who's behind this work?
It's led by Zijin Feng with colleagues at the Chinese University of Hong Kong, and the corresponding author is Lingzhi Wang.
Got it. Before we dive in, can we set the stage? Why is clustering hard in the first place?
Text clustering groups similar pieces of text without labels. It's used for topic discovery, intent detection, and organizing support tickets. The trouble is edge points, items that are unusually phrased, noisy, or ambiguous. Classic methods like K-means can get pulled around by those points, shifting centroids and muddling boundaries. Recent LLM-based systems help, but many ask the model to process everything or require domain-specific tuning, which gets costly and brittle.
So there's a gap between LLMs everywhere and LLMs only when necessary.
That's the gap this paper aims to bridge.
Walk me through the idea. How do they make the model's role so targeted?
The method is called LLM-EdgeRefine, and it runs in two stages. First, they run K-means to get an initial layout. Then they apply superpoint enhanced clustering, or SPEC. In each cluster, they temporarily group the farthest items into a single superpoint so those outliers stop tugging the centroid. They recluster using a standard hierarchical step and repeat this a few times so the boundaries settle down.
So spec is like smoothing the boundary before asking the model to weigh in.
Exactly. After that comes LLM-assisted cluster refinement, or LACR. For each cluster, they look at a small fraction of the points farthest from the center, likely edge cases. For each one, they prompt a language model with a short instruction, the item itself, and a compact set of example pairs that describe nearby clusters. The model answers a narrow question. Keep this item in the current cluster, or remove it. If removal is suggested, the item is reassigned to the nearest centroid. They do this for only a few passes.
I like that the model isn't rewriting the whole clustering. It's acting more like an auditor focused on the weird cases.
That's right. Because only a slice of the data gets queried each pass, the number of model calls stays low. They also keep the prompt compact, using 8 demonstration pairs to anchor the decision.
What are they comparing against, and how do they measure success?
They test on datasets covering different flavors of clustering. Intent datasets like Clink, MTOP, and Massive, emotion clustering with Go emotions, and domain or scenario variants of those. They use instructor embeddings for representations. To check dependence on a particular model, they run the refinement with ChatGPT based on GPT 3.5 as well as Llama 2 and Mistral. They evaluate with accuracy and normalized mutual information. Hyperparameters are selected without labels using a graph-based quality score called modularity. They also include ablations that remove either SPEC or LACR.
Sounds solid. What did they actually find?
In short, consistent gains. LLM-EdgeRefine improves both accuracy and mutual information over strong baselines across all datasets, including recent LLM-driven methods. The improvements are meaningful while keeping the number of model prompts small.
And how sensitive is this to the choice of LLM? If I swap in an open model, do things fall apart?
No. The results hold up across GPT 3.5, Llama 2, and Mistral. Performance shifts a bit with model capacity, which is expected, but overall the framework does not rely on a single proprietary model.
Efficiency is a big deal for production. Do they quantify the cost side?
They do. One competing approach uses a fixed large number of prompts per dataset plus fine-tuning. Another grows with the number of items and clusters. By contrast, their query count scales with the number of items times a small edge fraction times the number of passes. In the experiments, they target about 1/10 of the items per pass and run 3 passes. The bottom line is fewer calls with better clustering.
Good to hear. Any notes on stability?
They report the method is fairly stable when you vary the fraction of edge points sent to the model. With small step changes, the accuracy doesn't swing much, which is reassuring.
Let me test the intuition. Suppose I'm clustering user queries for a banking assistant. Most reset password messages cluster cleanly, but some come in like, I locked myself out after travel and can't sign in. Those odd ones might sit on the edge.
Exactly. Spec would prevent those edge cases from yanking the cluster center around. Then LACR would ask a targeted question. Does this text really belong here, or is it closer to an account access after travel theme? If the model flags it, the system reassigns it.
Okay, what should teams be cautious about?
A few things. First, the experiments assume you know the number of clusters ahead of time. That's common in research, but not always realistic. Second, results can vary with the language model's quality and version, so reproducibility across API changes is a general risk. Third, the method has a few hyperparameters: the edge fraction, the number of refinement passes, and the aggressiveness of superpoints, and the best values can differ by dataset. Finally, the edge point heuristic is distance-based, which is efficient, but it may miss ambiguous items that sit near a centroid.
Right. Not every tricky sentence is far away in embedding space. Some are tricky because they're close to more than one meaning.
Exactly. On the practical side, the pipeline is deliberately simple: standard embeddings, k-means, then spec, and a short prompt for LACR. Hyperparameters can be chosen with modularity, so you're not peeking at labels. It's a fairly portable recipe.
If you were to extend this work, where would you go?
I'd add automatic ways to estimate the number of clusters, develop a better uncertainty score for picking edge points instead of relying purely on distance, and build a cost-aware controller that decides when not to query or which model size to use. Broadening tests to more domains and languages would also help.
Great. Can you give me a one-sentence takeaway?
If you have a decent clustering pipeline but edge cases are muddying boundaries, LLM-EdgeRefine offers a targeted, budget-friendly way to clean them up. Stabilize first, then ask a language model only about the few items that matter.
That's clear. Thanks for walking me through it.
And that's it for today's AI podcast. The paper is LLM-EdgeRefine, led by Zijin Feng with Lingzhi Wang at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. Thanks for listening and see you next time.